Ukrainian defenders continue to inflict losses on the Russian occupiers and recapture captured territories. According to the Institute for the Study of War, the Ukrainian Defense Forces have achieved new successes on several sections of the front. New geolocation footage released on July 31 confirmed that the Ukrainian army had regained control of the village of Temirovka, northeast of Huliapol in the eastern Zaporizhia region, the report said. It was further evidence that the front line was gradually moving in places to push out Russian invaders. No less important advances were recorded in the Lyman direction. Ukrainian forces advanced south of Dybrova and east of Lyman. In addition, the Ukrainian Armed Forces achieved success in the area of Velikomikhylivka. Ukrainian fighters managed to liberate Malyevka, located to the southeast of the said settlement. By gradually wearing down the advancing enemy army, the Ukrainian armed forces inflict colossal losses on the enemy in manpower and equipment, and then locally launch counterattacks. Such tactics have regularly yielded results over the course of more than 3 years of full-scale war. Let us recall that Putin's troops were surrounded near Yunakovka. One of the Russian war correspondents, who is closely connected with the northern group of Russian forces, stated that units of the 83rd Airborne Brigade have partially withdrawn from Varachino. Z channels write that units of the 234th Airborne Regiment of the Russian Federation are advancing in the Yunakovka area. However, they were disorganized, which gave the Ukrainian armed forces the opportunity to conduct a tactical encirclement of Putin's army. Recall, Ukrainian forces continue to inflict significant losses on the Russian army. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, just on July 31 alone, 940 Russian soldiers were killed, along with military equipment worth tens of millions of dollars, reports the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Russian military losses in July amounted to 33,220 personnel. Commander-in-Chief of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, General Alexander Syrskyi, announced this on Facebook. Russian losses in manpower in July alone exceeded 33,220 to be exact, Syrskyi said. He also expressed his gratitude to Ukrainian defenders for their professional and courageous combat efforts. Total Russian combat losses in the war against Ukraine from February 24, 2022, to August 1, 2025, are estimated at approximately 1,054,200 personnel, including 940 killed or injured over the past day.
Russian troops lost a significant amount of armored vehicles and artillery during their crossing over a pontoon at the Lyman sector. The photos were published on social media platform X by a Marine named Kriegsforscher Militani media outlet says. On just one crossing, the enemy lost a BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher system as well as a 152mm MSTA-B howitzer along with its tractor. Additionally, the pontoon saw the destruction of a BTR-82A, an all-terrain vehicle, a truck, and an infantry fighting vehicle, or a truck that was towing the MSTA-B. Some of the equipment was struck by FPV drones, while the rest was likely hit by barrel artillery, as indicated by the specific craters from the explosions. It is not specified which river the Russian forces were trying to cross. It is likely referring to the Zerebets River, which flows near the settlements of Zarechne and Torsk, according to military media outlet. Assault actions in this sector are being carried out by units of the 169th and 164th Motor Rifle Brigades, as well as the 31st and 37th Motor Rifle Regiments. In Lyman, one Ukrainian brigade found an ingenious use for ancient Roman tactics on the current battlefield, combining them with modern warfare elements and technology to sabotage the Russian advance toward Lyman. This created a zone so lethal that these Ukrainians are eliminating at an insane ration of 66 Russian soldiers for every Ukrainian casualty they take, Euromaidan Press says. In the sector near Lyman, despite holding a substantial bridgehead across the Zerabets River, Russian forces remain critically overstretched. Their goal to establish a direct route towards Lyman, a town they fruitlessly sought to capture for over 2 years, remains distant. Consequently, Russian commanders have redirected significant effort toward breaching the defensive lines around Torsk, hoping to improve their severely limited logistical situation across the Zerabets River. Standing firmly against this intense Russian pressure is Ukraine's battle-hardened 63rd Mechanized Brigade. Exploiting favorable terrain, the brigade has expertly leveraged local geography for defensive advantage. To the north of Torsk, large reservoirs limit Russian maneuverability and prevent effective flanking actions, isolating their frontal assaults. South of Torsk, expansive forested areas have allowed Ukrainian forces to establish deep fire control zones, creating lethal choke points for attacking Russian infantry and motorbike squads. The results of this skillful Ukrainian defense have been devastating for the Russians. Despite substantially increased assaults, Russian forces face severe shortages of armor, forcing commanders to resort primarily to infantry assaults on motorcycles and ATVs. In response, the 63rd Brigade has perfected a ruthless, cost-effective defensive strategy that has yielded a stunning kill-to-death ratio in their favor. The extraordinary figure indicates that for each Ukrainian soldier lost, Russian forces lose around 66 troops, a devastating statistic demonstrating Ukrainian tactical superiority in the area. Key to Ukraine's remarkable defensive success here is the innovative revival of ancient Roman warfare tactics, particularly the widespread use of caltrops. Historically, Roman soldiers employed caltrops, metal devices designed with spikes, positioned in all directions as highly effective area denial tools. Placed on roads, fields or forest pathways, caltrops punctured enemy horses' hooves, forced troops into open, vulnerable spaces, and slowed advancing units significantly, enabling Roman forces to saturate their exposed enemies with projectiles. Now, the Ukrainian 63rd Brigade applies this ancient tactic, using drones to disperse modern versions of caltrops across Russian assault paths. Unlike traditional mines, caltrops are inexpensive, safe to deploy remotely, and difficult to detect through drone surveillance.